Hello. In this quick presentation, I'm going to talk about how I conduct these SAT and ACT classes, what is the structure of these classes, and how we help participants develop their skills to score high in SAT and ACT and eventually get admissions in their dream colleges. I would like to talk about this in two parts. We focus on developing the winner's psychology first, and then we focus on developing test skills. So, when it comes to winner's psychology, during the span of last 10 years, when I have been helping participants clear various tests, I found that all the winners come with this mindset and they use some techniques to develop this mindset of a winner. The first thing is, when they start a test, they do some kind of ritual. Like, for example, one of the participants used to close his eyes for 10 seconds. In fact, he used to close his eyes for 10 seconds before every section. So this made him very focused and concentrated. And I asked these participants to just close their eyes for 10 seconds before starting the test, so that they get conditioned to read and they get more focused towards the test, switching themselves off from all the external activities they were doing before the test. So these simple techniques help them. Second thing I asked them to do is that they realize that our mind works in two different states. One state is called as scatter focus and the second state is called hyper focus. So when they start the test, the mind is in that state of scatter focus. It is not really focused on one particular point. There are so many thoughts, there are so many things. You are concerned about time, you are concerned about vocabulary, you are concerned about various other things. So let the mind be in that state. Answering the questions when you are in that scatter focus mode is not a good idea. So I asked them to read the passage to get the basic premise, and once they have got warmed up, once they are ready to move from scatter focus to the hyper focus mode, they can start answering questions. So these are some psychological techniques, some simple techniques that we use to help students develop the right techniques of developing focus. Then comes test techniques. Now when we talk about the testing techniques, we divide it into reading techniques and answering techniques. So in reading, we talk about not to read the passage but to read the message, which means they are not supposed to read every word, they are supposed to skim through the passage. Now what is skimming? Skimming is not fast reading, skimming is selective reading. So we help participants to develop speed reading skills through skimming, through identifying keywords, through identifying transitions, so they read the story very quickly, not getting into the nitty-gritties of it but getting the basic premise of it. And then comes the answering questions. So when it comes to answering the questions, there are some simple techniques that we use, like we talk about triggers. So there are positive triggers and negative triggers in every option. We ask them to identify those triggers and then answer questions. One quick disclaimer: every participant comes with a very different experience and skill set. Some are very good readers, some are slow readers, some are very good at identifying the triggers, some are not very good. So the techniques that we help to teach are not very specific, they are not fixed. We try to moderate them based on the participant, and we tell them that this particular technique works for him or her because he comes with a certain type of background, and that's what we call as first standardize then optimize. First we have to standardize and see which particular strategy works best for a participant, and then optimize it by doing a lot of practice. So that's what we do with our participants, and to our credit, we have been getting fantastic results. Our participants are there in Johns Hopkins, University of California, and other top colleges of US. And I welcome you to the SAT or the ACT course that you want to take. All the very best to you. Thank you so much.